Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nikki, and today we are going to be talking about finding faith during difficulties, during tough times. I have found that at times when we are going through hardship, we are going through struggles, it's hard to be able to lean on your faith or to trust in God during those moments. But I've also found that during those very struggles, we often find God. But I've also found that in those struggles, during those tough times, we learn to trust in God's plan and purpose for our lives. Even when we cannot see a way forward, even when we don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, we learn to trust God in those hard moments, in those tough moments. So today I'm going to be sharing some tips on how to find your faith during these tough times, during these tough seasons. So the first tip that I have is learn to pray honestly. Now, what does that mean? Learning to pray honestly, especially during seasons like this, is when you begin to tell God your deepest, darkest, most vulnerable moments. You learn to share those moments with God, like sharing the things that's challenging in this season of your life, sharing how, what's going on in your life in that very moment. You had a bad day, go into your prayer closet and tell the Lord about everything that happened in your day, in your bad day. What happened? And how did that make you feel? If someone cursed you out, while you're learning to be kind to people, tell God what happened. In this season of my life, I'm literally living this out. Like when I tell you, I talk to God about every single thing that is happening in my day. In this season of my life, I believe that God is teaching me to have patience. I believe that God is also teaching me how to be kind. I believe God is also teaching me how to love others and how to be compassionate to others. And during this season, things have happened. For example, I remember a day I was driving and that person that was driving in front of me was driving very, very slow. And I'm the type of person, when I'm on the road, like, let's go. I don't have time. I'm trying to get to my destination. And I think at that time, like, I might have been pressed for time. And this person was driving so slow and they were getting ready to turn. And I know they was getting ready to turn because they signal that they were turning right. And being the person that I am, I honked my horn to tell them to hurry up and turn it because that's how slow they were driving. And after it happened, I caught myself and I was like, Lord, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. They were already turning, they were already turning. Like, why did I have to do that? That was mean. So when I say that, being able to pray honestly and talk to God honestly, that's what I mean. Like going before the Lord and telling him whoever made you angry, how that made you feel, whatever somebody said to you that pissed you off. Like God already sees everything that's happening in your life alongside you. So telling him how you feel, how certain things made you feel, in those moments, he's able to come in, he's able to comfort you, he's able to feel with you, feel those emotions with you, and pull you out of your emotions rather than you not talking to him about it and letting those things build up on the inside. And in those moments, trust that, God hears you, trust that, he understands, even when it feels distant. Prayer is not just about, expressing your gratitude, thanking God, and asking God for things, but also prayer is also being able to be vulnerable with God. So that's what I mean when I say to pray honestly. The next tip is remembering God's faithfulness. Yes, reflect on past testimonies, reflect on past ways that God has been, helping you. Reflect on the last time that God did something for you, the last time that he blessed you, the last time that he pulled you out of a hard situation, or he was able to deliver you from a situation that you didn't think that you will be able to overcome, but somehow you were able to overcome it by the grace of God. So remember to reflect on those faithfulness, meditate on God's goodness in your life, meditate on all the time that God provided for you, meditate on all the times that God led you and directed you, meditate on all the times that he helped you, the times that he sent people to help you when you're in times of need. So remembering his faithfulness is able to help you in your current season. Because if you're struggling to have faith and you're struggling to trust God in that season, when you begin to think about his goodness, when you begin to think about the times that he helped you, he is the same God that was in that past situation. The same God that was in that past situation is also with you in your present situation, and he's able to help you. He's able to deliver you. He's able to provide for you. He's able to lead you in whatever capacity that you need him right now. He's that same God. So learn to reflect and remember the past things that God did for you. Remembering his faithfulness to you in those moments in the present will be able to reignite the trust that you once had for him, and to be able to trust him and believe in him for the future that you're believing in him for, the future things that you're believing in him to do for you. The next tip is accepting God's timing. Yes, accepting God's time. And one of my, like, when it comes to God's appointed time, one of my favorite scriptures is, I think it's like Isaiah. It's in Isaiah, and I'll link it on the screen right now. But it says that when the time is right, I, the Lord, will do it. And one of the things is, as Christians, we want instant relief from the seasons that we're in because it makes us uncomfortable. But the thing is, if you want instant relief, how is your faith supposed to grow? How is your faith supposed to be built? This is seasons like this is when your faith is being built. Trusting in God's plan for your life, in his timing, his appointed time, even when you don't understand. That's what faith is. That's what walking out your faith means in seasons like this. Trusting God's timing, trusting in his plan for your life, even when you don't understand it, even when it's hard, even when you can't see a way, even when you're struggling. You trust in it. You trust in his plans, no matter what. Turn to scriptures, and I have a couple here. When you're going through tough seasons, the Bible is filled with stories of God's faithfulness, filled with scriptures of individuals going through tough time and God coming through and helping them, and reflecting on verses like Isaiah 41:10, fear not, for I am with you, or Psalms 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, can provide comfort and strength for you as you're going through certain seasons. Praying these scriptures back to God and telling God, Lord, you said you are near to the brokenhearted. Why do I feel like you're far away? Draw close to me, Lord. Draw me near to you. Draw nigh unto me as I draw closer to you. Like, you can pray these scriptures back to God. And the next tip is stay committed to worship. Continue to praise and worship God. Worship in the midst of difficulty and hardships help you to shift your perspective. It takes your eyes off of your problem, off of your situation, and it helps you put your focus on God's greatness. It puts your focus on how big the God that you serve, how wonderful the God that you serve is, that the one that you're worshiping, the one that you're praying to is the creator of the entire universe. So what is your small problem to him that he cannot change it? What is your small problem to him that he cannot fix it? When you begin to shift your focus from your problem and shift it and look onto the author and finisher of your faith, you will begin to see that your problem is nothing to God. That is nothing for him to change that situation. So keep your eyes on the Lord as you're going through whatever tough season, whatever hard season that it is that you're going through right now. Like, I know it's hard. I know, at times it's hard. Your problem becomes a distraction to you when you want to pray or you want to worship God. But that is the time that you literally have to lean in more. That's the time you have to press in more when it comes to praise and worship, when it comes to praying. Because if you continue to soak in your problems, the enemy uses your problem to magnify it and make it seem like it's so big, it's so hard, and that God cannot deliver you from that problem. And then it makes your season be drawn out even more. But when you begin to put your eyes on the Lord and you begin to pray and you begin to praise and you begin to thank God for being the great God that he is, and that your problems is so small compared to how great that he is, the faith that you're tapping into in those moments can literally shift your situation, can literally cause your situation to change. Because the Bible says that in the presence of the Lord there is freedom. You can never enter into the presence of the Lord and come out the same way that you entered. You cannot go in praising and worshiping God depressed and leave depressed. You just cannot. It's impossible. The presence of God is too powerful for you not to be changed in some way, for Him not to touch you in some form or fashion, because that's just how His presence is. There are times that I'm feeling down, I'm feeling weak, I don't feel like praying, I don't want to pray, but I press in those moments. And when I tell you, God comes, the Holy Spirit just overwhelms me with His presence. Like the Lord just comes and He takes away everything that I'm feeling in those moments. And it's like you leave that prayer closet or your little corner in your house, and you're like, what was I worrying about again? Like, what was the problem again? Because in the presence of God, like, things change, things move, things shift. And the last tip is serving others. Yes, serving others helps you to take your eyes off of you, of your situation, and focus on other people, because it's not always about you. Sometimes there are people that are going through worse than you're going through, and that can also shift your perspective as well, that hey, I know I'm going through what I'm going through right now, but my situation is not as bad as such and such. Serving helps to remind you also of God's love and God's purpose for our lives, which is to love one another as we love ourselves. And in those moments of serving other people and loving on other people that's going through a hard time, like that can also help you, to just appreciate your situation a little more. And you don't also only have to serve people that are in, worse situations than you, but also help people in general, serve people in general, love on people in general, because we do it because He first did it. Christ did it first, and we are to be imitators of Him. So I hope these tips were helpful. Thank you for listening, and I will see you guys in my next video. If you enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up. Comment if you have any other tips to share that may help others, and subscribe if you're not subscribed to my channel. Go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.